So let's talk about Gringo, which was actually a really welcome surprise for me in terms of just being a fun, dumb comedy. But I thought that a lot of the jokes in it were really subtle and really funny, and I thought that the actors they got involved in this movie really made it a step above what the critics are saying for me, like in terms of fun and in terms of entertainment. I feel like this was a really fun, really great watch, and I thought that the critics are like not demolishing this movie, but they're not saying it's good. And I can see why, but to me, in terms of entertainment, in terms of fun, in terms of good performances, I thought that this was a good movie. Not defending it as a movie that's technically quote unquote good, but I'm defending it as a movie that entertained me and I enjoyed the whole movie. And I think that there aren't a giant amount of criticisms I can give. I can definitely give a lot of criticisms, like nitpicky ones, but not giant ones. I feel like this one is a pretty solid story. A pretty solid comedy with a pretty solid story with pretty solid characters. The main character, Harold, who's played by David Oyelowo. I don't know if I might have just said that in the worst pronunciation ever, but I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and I thought that, but this guy who plays Harold is really good in this movie. I think that the actor and the writing of it made this character a little more like he's really you really feel for him in this movie. Like this character Harold is really shat on like by everybody, and I really liked how this is a movie about him getting back at them, but also there's a lot of miscommunications between all these characters. So there's a lot of random stuff happening because of miscommunication while Harold is just trying to get back at a lot of these people for being shitty to him. Like, for example, his wife who is leaving him and the two higher ups of the company that he works for, played by Joel Edgerton and Charlize Theron. And I thought that they both are really, really good in this movie. I think that Joel Edgerton plays such a dickbag, and so does Charlize Theron, too. They both are, this is weird to say, they're both so likable, even though they're really, really, really horrible people in this movie. Like, they are terrible. The way they talk about people they work for, especially Harold, the way that they treat everybody, the way that Joel Edgerton's character is sleeping with everybody, and then how Charlize Theron, how she just says what she wants. She'll just call anybody what she wants, and it's always something really, really explicit. And I think that it's really funny because Charlize Theron does a good job of being, like in this movie, she does a really good job of being this really, really shitty, unlikable character. But she's so likable because it's Charlize Theron, of course, and Joel Edgerton. They're so likable. So it's fun. It's hard to explain that they are still really likable, even though they are shitbags. They are really horrible in this movie in terms of just being horrible people, but they're so funny and so entertaining. I like how they both of these characters kind of try to one up each other or try to get back at each other because both of them are horrible people. And I think that it was funny with their camaraderie between each other, to see who ends up on the top out of the two. I think that that's really awesome. And I thought that all the other actors involved too were good too. Like Charlotte Copley was good too as this kind of mercenary character who is going out to get Harold in the somewhere in Mexico, and he's really cool. He's really funny, and he's really just wacky. He has a wacky performance, but it's a performance that I really liked. And Amanda Seyfried, I liked her. I just thought that she was just kind of there in terms of her character, but I liked her performance, and I usually do like her in everything I've seen her in, and she's really good too, but it's not one that I can really explain why. I just think that she did fine. I liked her in it, and I think that just the movie itself, despite not being like a great film, I think that it is just so fun and so entertaining because of these characters. You have a lot of sympathy for the main character, and there's actually some good emotional moments with this main character and what he is going through with all these shit bags in his life. And having the two, Charlize Theron and Joel Edgerton, these two higher ups who are horrible dickbags, and then having Charlotte Copley as this crazy ass character, and having Amanda Seyfried as this character who's kind of along for the ride, and his wife character, like they are all really, really interesting. All of them together in this, like, combinated into this movie. I think they're all really interesting, and I think the story is interesting. And I liked how the trailer did a really good job of making you think the movie's gonna go one way, but it doesn't in a lot of ways. And I'm not gonna explain why. I don't want to spoil it because I think that this is a good movie. And I think that that people should see it. I think it's a good, entertaining movie, and people might hate it, but I enjoyed it. I think that it was worth my time, and I thought it was a really, really fun watch.